Hey guys, it's your girl Amma here. Thank you for tuning in to another video. If you are new, hey, my name's Amma and I mainly talk about natural hair and other stuff that I feel like talking about. Please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking about CEN, childhood emotional neglect. Some of you might know it as childhood trauma, and I'm going to be talking about my experiences of it. So let's get down to the video. So CEN, childhood emotional neglect. Some of you might know it as childhood trauma. It's essentially when your primary caregivers or your parents fail to meet your emotional needs. For some people, the effects on this can be quite short term, and for others, it can actually be long term. My experience was long term, and I'm going to be talking to you about some of the things that I experienced, and hopefully just share my journey with you and be open, and hopefully you guys might learn something about me. This might also help you if you're also suffering from something similar. Please feel free to drop your comments in the comments box below and I'll get right into it. So from my experience as a CEN survivor, my first recollection from it really kind of came into play during secondary school times. So what happens is I really felt at that point like I didn't really know myself. But it's not like not knowing yourself, it's actually you feel like you're existing but you're just not comfortable with yourself. You always feel like you're having to kind of do things or get things to be accepted. You're just really not in tune with your emotions. And what I really learned about it was that I grew up in a household where my emotions weren't really accepted, or it wasn't encouraged for me to show my emotions and stuff like that. So what I learned was very early on that what I needed and what I wanted didn't matter. So very often I would find myself in situations where I'm with friends, or I'm surrounding myself, where I'm attracting to people who don't really care about how I feel or don't really care about how they feel. It's just more of a situation where there's not really much substance to some of the relationships and friendships that I had. So this took me a really, really long time to recognize. I would say I started the journey maybe about 6 years ago, but I didn't actually know what was going on when I was trying to find myself. I just felt like I needed some answers to things, and where I grew up in an emotionally unavailable household, I wasn't able to get that yearning or that need that I needed to feel loved, and to be able to feel like my emotions actually are valid. So I started that journey ages ago, about 6 years ago, as I said. I first went to Ghana, started to kind of get to know my mum's family. Then I went to where my dad stayed. This was over the course of maybe 3 to 4 years, and just kind of tried to understand more about their upbringing and what that meant. And I also did some counselling as well, and a lot of the signs were there. But what really, really dawned on me was the relationship side of things. So what I felt was that I often kept attracting emotionally unavailable men, but I didn't realize. And I always used to think, oh, if I did this or if I did that, or it would improve the relationship. I was just always feeling like I had to give, I just had to give to feel accepted. And where that was pretty much quite predominant in my childhood, I was giving from an early age and not actually warranting what I felt or how I felt or what I wanted. So that really, really kind of manifested itself in many different ways, and just the idea of feeling. So it's quite strange, because I for a long time haven't really been in touch with my emotions. So you can on the outside, I didn't really know that this stuff existed until I did more research and stuff. But on the outside, you can feel you're happy, you can feel sad, but really deep inside, in your heart, you I just didn't feel anything. I didn't really feel like I was able to connect with myself, and I really kind of felt I was exposed to a lot of negativity. So often a lot of my thinking, my thoughts, everything was just negative. So that was really kind of taken some constant battling with and trying with to understand more about why this and why that. And it's such a gradual process. So if anyone is out there relating to what I'm saying, I just kind of want you to congratulate yourself and just actually recognize that you're on the journey where you're actually starting to recognize that certain patterns and behaviors and thoughts and feelings aren't really that right or great, but you are aware of it, and that's the first step, because then you can obviously start to tune out how you would like to think and what kind of thoughts you would like. And that's really quite exciting. Initially I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like, how can you just be existing and you feel like an alien? Literally, you feel like you don't belong anywhere. So I'm still going through this process. I don't think I've kind of got there yet, but I'm really taking like active steps to make sure that I'm doing what's right for my needs emotionally and ensuring that I'm emotionally met. Another thing that I learned as well was my process for formulating ideas was like just like out of this world. There was never any like logical reasoning to doing anything. Most of the time it was like I felt like, and wherever that feeling, whether it came from the sky, whether it came from like my neighbor or whoever, whatever I felt like doing, there was no rationale or logic behind it. I'd often find myself kind of just like feeling out of it, not like taking drugs and stuff like that, but just kind of feeling like I didn't really belong anywhere. And I think that's kind of like really impacted like my choice in career as well, because I'm just like kind of going through the stages where I'm actually now trying to work out. I'm 29, by the way. I'm actually trying to work out like what do I actually enjoy doing? What do I like? As opposed to kind of being in situations where I'm being told like what to like and what to do and what not to do and that sort of thing. And it kind of really messes up with your psyche. So yeah, I'm having to unlearn everything and start to learn new patterns and behaviors that I like, that I kind of want to incorporate into my life, that I would like my partner to have, that I want my kids to have, and start to break some of those generational mistakes. You feel me? Good. So some of my immediate tips that I want to recommend are, if you in any way, shape or form have felt like you have related to what I've said today, the first thing, as I said, is just make sure you're aware of your thoughts. That's like so important, because obviously I think, therefore I am. So you need to really be kind of aware of your thoughts, and that takes time. It's taken me years to get to this point. It takes time. And then the other thing is, start doing things, like start experimenting and experiencing things, like things that potentially will make you happy. And I'm not saying like go out there and find people who will feed into your happiness. No, the happiness has to start to come from you. So if you like going for walks, or you think you might like it, go for a walk. If you think you might like to go for a walk with a dog, for example, there's like websites like Borrow My Doggy and stuff like that. Start to do that. I've always kind of like wanted a dog, so that's something I'm looking into now. If you like meditation, if you like yoga, if you like going to have a bubble bath and just like zoning out and listening to your music, do that. If you like to paint your nails, like do it. But the most important thing is you really need to like be in that moment. Actually start to like know that this is your time and this is what you kind of want to do with your time, and embody that and just start to embrace it. At first you might feel like, oh, this is a waste of time, you know, I'm not feeling it, I'm not enjoying it. But there'll be times where you're actually like, you'll be like, raw, this is actually quite cool. I'm enjoying like going for a walk and just like being at one with nature. If you like holidays, like also start to factor that in once lockdown's lifted, obviously. Like start to factor that in. But it's really about like kind of validating yourself. Like that's what you need to do. You need to start validating your thoughts and your feelings. And one other thing I would also say, start to be conscious of who you surround yourself around. You need to be conscious that you're surrounding yourself around people that are validating your thoughts and your feelings. If you feel sad and you don't feel like doing X or you don't feel like doing Y, that's okay. I just want to let you know that that is okay. So if you have a friend, for example, who you feel like you can really talk to and open up to, I would encourage you to start to do that. This friend is not supposed to tell you what to do or how to feel. No. They're just there to listen. They're just there to validate and warrant like how you're feeling, what is the energy that you're having. Obviously, if you start to kind of have like suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, then yeah, I'll definitely recommend like you go and see a therapist, or at least go and see your GP. But make sure you go and get your life insurance sorted before you start to do all that, like sooner the better. Because if your GP starts to put that on your file and like, God forbid something happens, they won't pay out because, you know, you declared that you had some mental something. But honestly, seriously, I do business as well, so that's why I'm saying that. But I think the whole mental illness has kind of like been taken out of context. No, you're not crazy. You're just going through some stuff like everyone else. The friend is really, really important, and just spend time with yourself, like looking at your body, like your shapes, your lumps, your scars, your, you know, just everything, and starting to embrace yourself, because like it has to now come from within you. You have to start to learn how to like remother yourself, because at this point it's not, someone can't give it to you. Like you have to now start to look within and start to pull out things that you don't like about yourself, and just sit with it, understand what it is you like, understand what it is you don't like. But then understanding, once you've understood that, then it's okay to know that it's okay that you don't like X or you don't like Y, but you can start to move forward on that journey gradually. But I think the key important thing is like you need to really kind of understand where you're at with your trauma and what essentially it is you're going through, and surround yourself around people who will validate your feelings. That might mean you lose some friends, that might mean you gain more friends, but yeah, that's basically what I would suggest. So I'd also recommend this book. It's called Homecoming. My therapist recommended this for me, and it's basically about reclaiming your inner child. It basically explains some of the thoughts and feelings that you might be having and why that is. And then it takes you through a number of exercises that you should do. Again, I would recommend like doing this with like someone you trust. There'll be certain points in the book where you actually need to do exercises with someone you trust. So please make sure you at least have one person you can talk to. At least if it's like an hour or two a week, that's great, because we can't do everything alone. Anyway guys, that's a bit about my story. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and you can also share my videos if you know anyone else that might be in need of hearing this. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Take care for now. Bye.